way.
Yeah, that's the thing that is when you're trying to escape, and then the moment that you start using these um, chemical escape methods, the chances of you getting hooked on that are so high, and the chances of you actually solving any of your problems are so low, and they just get further and further and further apart. And
Yeah, you can solve your problems for one night, but you wake up in the morning with more problems than you started with.
yeah, a good friend of mine, he was a heroin addict for about 10 years, and he this came at like the end of my drug taking career, so it was advice too late, but it's always stuck in my head ever since. He said, "Whatever you take from drugs, you pay back with interest."
Yeah, for sure,
And it's like that. I thought that was just it's stuck. It's the same. You can apply that. Alcohol for confidence, you'll feel worse the next day.
for sure.
Caffeine for energy, you'll feel worse the next day. Weed to escape or to be creative, you'll be worse the next day. It's like all of those, and they just compound on each other, and you just go down and down and down and down and down.
And
It's
if you don't have
crazy.
other things in your life, they're so easy to abuse.
Yeah.
And there will be people there who want to exploit your your vulnerabilities.
Mm.
The well, the dealers or the people. There's pubs on every corner. There's liquor stores on every corner. There's dealers on every street. There's
Yeah.
there's a reason for that. People want to escape, and then there's an entire economy built around the the idea of selling you something other than the life that you have, other than confronting the life that you're actually living and dealing with that and solving those problems.
I think that I think that the UK is for escapism is crazy. And for just general drug use, alcohol use, everything, I've traveled around a bit, been to various different places, and there's nowhere, maybe Ireland, UK, and well, when I say UK, I wrongly include Ireland in that, but the UK and Ireland, um, there's just nowhere I've been that compares to it. And I think part of it is the weather,
Yeah, yeah.
because for most of the year you can't go outside and just hang around,
No.
just wander around, or like go and work out in the park, or just do any of those things, meet some friends and wander around the park, just all those things. Like you can, but you also can't at the same time. Like,
It's dark, it's wet, it's cold, it's not inviting.
yeah, and I
You
think
get sick, uh, you put yourself at risk. Um, or if you want to use, I don't know, floodlit facilities, it becomes expensive. And if you don't have the resources to access those spaces, then what choices do you have?
yeah, it's sad. I think because it does. I think it does in the way that you've mentioned that um the mentality of people is shaped with their circumstances around work and everything. It's also the same with like cold weather. Cold weather creates kind
So
of cold, hardened
absolutely.
people, and I always think that it stems back to in the olden days. If you didn't have if you're in somewhere, Scotland, Northern England, in the winter and you don't have shelter, you're gonna die.
Yeah.
Like that's it, you're gonna die because you can't survive outside. If you're anywhere further south, like northern France or most of Europe, um, you're not gonna die. You probably won't. Well, you probably won't die of cold at least, and it creates this weird, hard like mentality of tough, like not expressing your emotions because you have to kind of stay
Yeah,
hard.
you gotta keep your head down. There's no time to really think about your situation because you have to deal with it. Um, yeah, I can't think too much about uh, my feelings or what my responses are to the situation because if I spend too long thinking, then I'm not active. If I'm not active, then I'm not gathering the food or repairing the house or gathering the firewood.
Mm,
It's yeah, our mentalities are a consequence of our environment.
yeah, and I think it was like